right, so guys, what do you think? Should we play some D&D?
Yeah.
I guess. If we
I
have
mean,
to.
we're all here. We might as well. A quick recap. A lot of shit went down last episode. You guys started out by deciding to delve into this underground tomb that you had discovered in Crabber's Cove, hidden for God knows how long below this shack where mysterious people had been meeting, or something was going on in the shack. You'd been investigating it when Farendir had discovered this door. After some deliberation, you busted open the door and you worked your way into this tomb, deciding to explore into the depths, the interior depths. And you triggered a trap in the hallway, which released a couple of ghouls. You quickly dispatched the ghouls and found yourselves in front of this door that had some sort of a seal on it and was emanating some sort of abjuration magic, but nobody really heeded.
We had a religious.
Yeah, nobody really heeded the warning, and so you decided to.
Nobody understood the warning. Let's get that clear.
Well,
It was a warning?
Pushed the door open and had a pretty fateful encounter with a creature from the dark. A creature that was pretty excited to see you, actually. He had been trapped in this tomb for centuries, perhaps, and was excited to have you escort him out. He attempted to talk with you, but growing, I guess, a little anxious at the situation, you decided to do battle with him, and Theo threw out a hex on him, and that sort of changed the balance of the encounter a bit.
Well, that's what happens when you run into a vampire, isn't it?
Yes, a vampire, that's right. He quickly overpowered you, and actually, I think 3 of you had actually been bitten by him throughout the course of the encounter. Farendir, I know you were bitten at the end there, but Theo, you had been bitten.
I got bit.
And
Rhunar got bit.
I guess hoping that your gods would save you, Farendir, which they did for a while. There were a lot of attempts to attack you from swarms of rats, and Zolek, who you learned was the name of the creature in the tomb, missed you a few times as you stood there, but unfortunately your luck only lasted so long, and you were killed by this vampire. Upon trying to escape, the vampire kind of chased you a bit out the door and was able to take a chunk out of Rhunar. And eventually, as Rhunar, Irin, and Theo made it to the entrance to the tomb, your fallen comrade still laying inside the tomb itself, a bat, accompanied by a disturbing laughter, flew past you and into the darkness of the Saltmarsh night. And that's where we'll pick up. The 3 of you are standing out in front of the tomb. And just so everybody knows, Kirk does have a new character that we'll be bringing in here in just a little bit. So.
Okay.
Is it Farendir's brother?
No.
Farendir?
Unfarendir.
Even better. Well, Theo, and I don't want to necessarily take up a whole lot of time with this because I do want to obviously move forward to get Kirk back into the game. But Theo is going to definitely try to go back into the crypt and get Farendir's body.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that we should try. At least check it out.
Yeah, I guess I would.
I support you guys. Don't
Player
worry.
player me says, do I like? Some of us know about vampires.
Okay.
That's a question, actually. So some of us do some of us know about vampires?
Irin, roll an Arcana check if you'd like to.
I'm inexperienced. I'll just say that.
I have an Arcana check.
Let's just say Runar's inexperienced with vampires.
Could
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
Theo roll for
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I know they can turn into a bat. That's about it, apparently.
Well, he did fly away, right?
There was, I guess, you're right. There was the laughter, so
You heard
we
the
could
laughter. You saw a
reasonably
bat.
assume-
Oh, okay. A bat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we don't know.
Irin, did you want to roll Arcana as well, or I mean, you don't have to.
I can grab dice. I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, all right. Well, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I would fail anyway.
Right. Have a little faith, my friend.
I'm
All right,
a puncher,
so
not a magic.
Theo, what you know of vampires is that they are undead. You're fully aware of that aspect of them. You have some knowledge of their ability to change shape into bat form. You've heard that they also can change into a mist. And you know, what little you do know about their weaknesses is, you know, could be old wives' tales, it could be true, but you don't have any firsthand knowledge, but you do know that there is lore that suggests that a stake through the heart is the only thing that will truly defeat a vampire. You also know, and the other two of you are also aware now, of course, that holy water has an impact on vampires. If you remember, one of you, I can't remember who it was, successfully.
Farendir.
Well, Farendir had handed out.
Yeah, I handed it
tactfully handed out some water.
I
But
threw
one of
some
you
at him.
threw and hit him. One of
Yeah,
you threw
that
and
was-
missed. But
Runar missed.
yeah,
Irin
the
hit.
holy water did seem to have quite an effect. And the other attacks that you did land on this creature, you did realize that didn't seem to do as much damage as you had hoped. And the other thing that I know Theo would remember is that you saw that some of the damage that had been inflicted on this creature seemed to go away after a certain period of time. It seemed to regenerate. So it's a bit of
I definitely remember that.
Yep, it's a bit of firsthand knowledge. This is your first encounter, so now you have some empirical data, but also some legend and lore that you think could be true, maybe not.
Nice.
It was a learning experience. Right.
Yeah.
Theo's still going to try and sneak in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody who's going back in, roll a stealth check for me.
You know, guess who's got disadvantage on that because of his stuff? It's me! Oh, Theo. You do it bad.
So 7. Is it just Theo going in?
I'm going into.
Okay.
Hang on. Give me a second.
I'm gonna bring up the rear, but only because I have like very few hit points left.
Yeah, it looks like you're sitting at 7 hit points.
Yeah,
I got a 15 for me.
Runar's roughed up.
All right, so you make your way back into this this dark tomb, and at this point, there's a bit of apprehension as you head in, but you do make your way back to the trap where you see the bodies of the 2 dead ghouls leaking this dark ooze, sort of gelatinous blood from their wounds. You see across the open trap door on the floor the body of Farendir being chewed on by 4 swarms of rats.
That's gross.
Light a torch. Start trying to drive off the swarm of rats.
All right.
Yeah,
See if
let's
they
write
do
a
this.
few-
Yeah, roll an
Go for a
intimidation
few
check.
torches.
Do a rat intimidation check, Theo.
I will intimidate these rats. You cannot
Would
stop me.
he get help with people helping him?
Sure. Yeah, are you gonna help him out?
Yep.
All right, you can roll with
I'll
advantage.
light a torch. And...
Let us bravely intimidate these rats. Fuck my life.
Jesus Christ.
Theo is deeply in a bad place right now, and it's just it's not working.
All right. Well, so the rats don't seem to be too. They're more concerned about feasting on this fresh body. It's quite a meal considering what they've had to survive on in this pit. But you are able to, just for the sake of moving things along a little bit, and just kind of getting to a different point in the story, you are able to either dispatch the rats, the few that are not killed, run off eventually, and you are able to recover the body of your fallen comrade. It is significantly desecrated. It has some substantial bites from the vampire about its neck, and the body itself is chewed pretty substantially by the swarms of rats. So it's pretty messy.
All right.
Let's,
Theo's going
Should
to
we wrap them up in a bedroll or a sheet or something?
precisely what Theo is doing. Wraps him in a bedroll and is going to insist on carrying him himself out.
Okay. So you're able to wrap him up, and you make your way back out of the chambers. And as you do, you look. I don't know if you remember, but when you came into the chamber, there's sort of a T, and you could have gone to the north and to the south. You went to the south, but as you are making your way out, carrying your comrade, and you take the right turn to go out, you look forward down the other corridor, and you see. In the reflection of the light that your torch throws down the corridor, you see beady eyes, and you hear this clicking and clacking of spiders that seem to be checking out what's going on. And you are able to quickly make your way out before any sort of confrontation, unless you want a confrontation.
No, the player thinks there's gold in them dar halls. The character's like, I am so done with this shit. So we're going with the character.
Okay. So you do make your way out. You get back onto the beach, and again, it is night now. It's just after sundown, and there's a cool breeze coming in off the azure sea, and it's quiet in Crabber's Cove.
I will take Farendir to the temple. Do you want to come, or should someone go straight to the council?
I guess my first instinct, I would prefer to go. Just bury Farendir.
Yeah.
I don't know
Then
if
we
I'm
go.
concerned with those council guys right now.
And we go to the temple.
Maybe we found a new town to fuck up.
Yeah, and I don't know. Should we probably keep this to ourselves?
I have no problem with that.
I don't know if we should tell anybody about what happened over here.
I think they should know that there was a vampire beneath a building in their home.
Yeah, but we also
Sharing that information might be bad for business.
we also let it out. We don't know if this thing just went into town and had lunch.
Oh.
You get to town, the council is dead.
It's like 30 Days of Night.
Clearly, I do not make good decisions. If that is what you think, I will abide by that. I'm just going to carry this good man home.
Let us do that.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, you're gonna take him. You're gonna take him to where, exactly?
You want to take him?
There's only one temple in town,
or should
right?
we just bury him?
Yes, the Temple of Procan.
That's the only temple in town. My instinct is to take him to the temple in town, especially because even if, out of character, even if we're not going to say he was killed by a vampire, my character doesn't know enough about the actual vampire rules to want to roll the dice on, say, not burying him on consecrated ground.
right.
Vampire Farendir coming for revenge is not good for us. And I should not have put that out there, but I assumed it was already there.
Isn't there something about dismembering the body and then burying it leagues apart?
That'll take care of anything rising from the dead, mostly. So we're going to head on up to that temple.
Yeah, let's go to the temple.
Okay, you climb back through the dunes and the wind-swept road that leads out to Crabber's Cove, which is about a mile or so north of town. You make your way back in, and you head up the hill towards the Temple of Procan and the large doors in front of you. As you approach the doors with a knock, a couple seconds later, the door swings open, and there is a young man who appears to be an acolyte who answers your call. Yes, how can I help you tonight?
Hello. Our friend has fallen, and we would see to his last rites.
Yes. Come. And you cross the threshold into the temple, and he brings you to an empty room that's off of the main chamber. And you can kind of hear your footfalls echoing through the halls as you walk on the stone tiles of the temple hallway. And he motions for you to lay the man on a bed. And he says, typically I ask how the person died. Would you care to share that information? It is not always shared forthright.
In battle.
Indeed,
He fell in battle.
Of course. No additional information needed. And he starts to go into a bit of a prayer sort of sequence, and he pulls out a flask of holy water and he spritzes the body that he has now exposed. And of course, he winces a little bit as he sees the carnage in front of him, but it's probably not the first time that he's seen someone damaged from all of the people that are injured or lose their lives on the ocean, for example. The sea can be quite unforgiving. So he's a little disgusted, but he's able to carry on with his service. And then he suggests, I have done what I can do to help usher his soul into the next world. The only remaining step would be to bury him in the cemetery.
I don't suppose that is out of the goodness of the temple's heart complimentary, is it?
We are able to accommodate those who do not have the means to provide compensation. However, we do ask that those who do have the means provide a meaningful donation to the temple.
You just kind of looks around for a second. You may be able to tell, but I do not spend a whole lot of time in the temple. What is a meaningful donation?
Well, it is typically based on means, but I would say often villagers will provide upwards of 10 silver for...
In that case, he literally pulls out 10 gold and just hands it to him.
Oh my, yes, this will definitely do. And this is a very meaningful offer. The Temple of Procan thanks you. He says, do you have anything else that you'd like to add at this point? If not, I can show you to the cemetery grounds where you can bury your friend.
Theo's going to look to the other two.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be good. Let's go to the cemetery.
Okay, so he guides you out, and the wind has started to pick up, and it's pretty windy atop this. I don't know if you remember. Actually, let's bring up the map so you can kind of get a view of Saltmarsh here. if you remember that the cemetery and the temple are up kind of on a hill,
Mhm.
up in this neck of the woods here. And so the wind is coming up over that ridgeline, almost blowing across Crabber's Cove, really, and blowing up to the temple and the small hill behind it that is home to the Saltmarsh Cemetery. And he leads you to an open plot in the back of the cemetery, up against the small scrub brush and grasses that grow beyond the wrought iron fence that circumnavigates this pretty modest, pretty old cemetery. He does have a couple of shovels that he offers to you, and as you begin to dig, it takes some time, but as you dig, he continues to pray over the body and conduct his business. And it takes you, maybe 2 hours total to dig a reasonable depth and to lay your friend to rest. So after about 2.5 hours, it's definitely well into the evening now, and it's pretty late. And the three of you are standing there, and the priest says, "I will take my leave, gentlemen. May the good grace of Procan go with you as you journey forward, and may it help to lay your friend in the resting place that he deserves." And he starts to walk away, and he makes his way out of the cemetery, leaving the three of you standing there.
I have no idea what to say at this point. He says that literally out loud.
Well, it wasn't a great way to go.
No, he was a good man.
He was literally the best bard I have ever met.
And he could really kick out the
You should have
tunes.
been here 3 days ago. You might not say that.
In my defense, he's the only bard I have ever met.
That's fair. That's fair.
He had his moments. He had that one performance.
Yeah.
That was pretty epic.
Well, then I choose to remember him for that performance and not any of the other terrible things that might have happened.
Good times.
Yes. Does anyone know if he had any family or friends?
No, I don't think we ever heard about that.
I don't even know his family name. Only Farendir.
Well then, as we know there is an afterlife because there are literally people who come back from it, we at least know that hopefully it is better for him there. He is not having to put up with us here, and we do not have to deal with his less than musical aspects there, which I believe makes that a good eulogy.
Hopefully he finds Erroneous's halls if that is where he goes.
I mean, he went down fighting a vampire. If that's not a ticket, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I almost died fighting that thing.
To be fair, I think we all did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we find a place to rest, or are we going to try to talk to these city council people?
Last thing, before we actually did the burial part, Theo is going to actually take that holy symbol of Heronius from Farendir's corpse and just kind of tap it after a second and put it in his pack.
You're going to put it in your pack?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So make sure you write that down. Is it safe to assume that you went through any of his other stuff, or did you bury him with everything that he had on him?
I guess we would have probably gone through his things, wouldn't you
That's
think?
a good question. We know he didn't have any money.
I had like 19 gold, I'm pretty sure.
No, actually, I'm looking at your character sheet right now, and you had 6 silver and 108 gold.
Yeah, I had some money.
Jesus, you lying sack of shit.
Well, no, we got paid from the Mariners. Guild.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
we got paid. When we came back.
Wow, they just turned on you.
Ah,
No
I mean, I
speaking
was
ill of the
broke
dead.
until that.
Take the gold,
Yeah.
take the gold, take the
That's
gold.
fair.
All right, so let me run through what he had on him. He had a holy symbol, which you've already dealt with. Let's see. He had a prayer book, a rapier, a lute, leather armor. I'm just reading stuff that might be of interest. Dagger. Perfume.
We had perfume. Well, that's the important part.
He had a 10-foot chain. He had 9 iron spikes.
Get the iron spikes.
All right, so take the 9 iron spikes. Crowbar, 2-person tent.
I don't know why the iron spikes are most important, but this game has taught me that they come in really handy.
Sledgehammer.
I'll take
What's that?
the crowbar and the hammer.
All
The
right.
crowbar and the hammer.
Okay. There's a hooded lantern, a healing kit. You probably want the healing kit.
Yeah.
There's a pile
I
of
have one already.
bones. I don't remember what that's from, Kirk. Do you remember? All
He's
right.
dead.
He might have stepped away. There's a
Wait,
one.
what was that? Sorry.
You have a pile of bones in your inventory. Do you remember what that was from?
I believe that was somebody in. I believe I collected it to give it a proper burial.
Okay.
Which I never
There
figured
is
out.
one healing potion. I'm sure you guys want that.
Yeah, we'll take
Yes.
He has 5 scrolls on him. He's got a hold person, bless, phantasmal force, light, and silent image. Wow. And then I think you used 3 of the water skins, so there's 2 holy water skins. So hopefully you got all that, whatever you wanted to take.
Definitely grabbing a holy water skin.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Is anybody going to take the scrolls?
I can't. I have no use for them. So, Theo, do you have any use for these?
I can cast. I can use 1 or 2 of them. Perhaps we can use them for barter later.
Yeah. Who wants the potion? The healing potion? Anybody need one?
You take it.
Right. I already have a healer's kit if one of you guys want to take the healer's kit.
I wouldn't know how to use it.
I don't really know how to use a healer's kit anymore.
Can't say I know how to use it either, but I have one. Right.
Okay. So you take what you can use. There was 108 gold pieces and 6 silver pieces. You guys can figure out how to divvy that up. Other
Theo
than-
also took the prayer book.
You want the prayer book? Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of the stuff we'll assume gets buried with him. And the 3 of you eventually, after trying to say as much as you can about a man that you didn't really know for very long, and you didn't really know him very well, but the time that you had with him was special. And
It was.
and so you take your leave from the cemetery, and you make your way into the sleepy town of Saltmarsh, where it is now well into the night, and there's some activity, although it is rather subdued. It's a kind of a stormy night. As I mentioned, the wind is kind of kicked up, and the sea is pretty violent at this point, with a lot of waves crashing on the shoreline. So there's not a whole lot going on. There is, Theo, as you make your way to the snapping line, there is some activity in the pub. As you make your way to your room, I'm assuming that Irin and Rhunar make your way back to the Wicker Goat. As you pass by the council chambers, it's closed at this point. it's so late in the evening. It's not an option for you guys after all that's transpired. So we'll just, for the sake of kind of brevity, we'll say that you all get back to your respective rooms and you are able to take a long rest.
And drink heavily.
Right. Drink yourself to sleep. And Rhunar, D20 roll for you as per usual. The rest of you, long rest, morning comes, and the seagulls wake you up, although it seems that you've slept a little bit later than you normally do, and it is well into the mid-morning at this point when you wake up. The three of you reconvene at, we'll say down in the weekly market area. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, what now? Are we still? I guess we had to do something.
Well, last night's events have completely destroyed my mind. What are we going to talk to the council about?
Work. Finding something else to work for work. You know, we definitely didn't think we'd run into what we thought. You know, we didn't think we'd run into what we found last night. It was supposed to be a quick in and out kind of thing.
Yes, it was.
So I suppose we could either go by the council and see if they still want to talk to us, or we could go back to that job board, see if there's anything else there. Do we still have anything from the last time we checked it?
Theo does produce the two other papers we took, one of which was working for the Dwarves, the other one which was looking for a lost ship.
That's right.
We do have these. It's funny, they sound simple, but after last night, I immediately assumed they would go to shit. We could also speak to the council, see if they have anything they want us to do. Rhunar, what do you think?
Well, it would be kind of bad to just leave them hanging and never show up, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think? We'll go check it out, see if they have anything for us, and then make our decision after that. What do you think?
Whatever you say, my friend.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
We'll head to the city council and see if there's anybody there we can talk to.
Okay. The three of you make your way to the council chambers, which is starting to become very familiar to you. You've been there a few times now. You walk in, and greeting you is the familiar face of the old woman who runs the reception area, also probably very involved with record keeping and that sort of thing. And she sees you come in and says, yes, the Eleander is here, and he is expecting you. Yes, please wait. And she gets up and walks out, and the familiar, brawny captain of the guard, Eleander Fireborn, steps out of a room and says, yes. It appears as though we're ships in the night, and we missed you last night, but you are just the man I wanted to see, Rhunar.
Yes, I'm sorry that we weren't able to make it last night. Yes, let's talk.
Please, I have something for you, yes. I would like to speak with you privately, please.
All right.
I will admire the furniture.
Just Rhunar?
Yes. Just for a moment, gentlemen, please.
Quite all right.
Right, that's
for
fine.
just a second.
Okay, so Rhunar, you follow Eleander into the side room, and he closes the door, and he says, please sit. I have something of grave importance to talk with you about, and I want you to be as forthright as you possibly can be with me right now. As you know, Aubrek Dralian was found dead in his mansion only a few days ago, and we have been investigating the murder. As you can imagine, it has been a difficult investigation, and we are exploring all possible leads. I don't intend for this to cause any problems between us. I know that you have done some very good things here in Saltmarsh, but as one of the last known associates of Dralian, it behooves me to ask you where you were 5 nights past, and
Damn it, Rhunar.
who you were with.
5 nights.
So this would have been,
path.
yep, so this would have been, basically this would have coincided with right around the time that you guys had been recovered from the dunes by Major Ursa.
Okay. All right. Well, we were on that Abbey Island on behalf of the Mariners Guild, and we had just suffered a defeat, but we were saved by one of their men, Major Ursa.
Yes, go on.
And I woke up the next day at his house. So we were many miles away from Saltmarsh at the time.
And your colleagues, I imagine, can corroborate this,
Yes.
along
yes,
with Major Ursa.
Yes, that is correct.
Very good. As I thought was the case, Rhunar, again, I don't wish to shine any suspicion upon you. It is only a matter of ruling out possible suspects, as I'm sure you can understand.
Yeah, I understand. So, can you tell me anything about what happened to Mr. Dralian?
At this point, as you ask this, he kind of turns, and for the first time, you hadn't noticed before, but there is another figure standing in the corner of the room.
Oh, hello. Who is that?
I go by Byron Hern. It's good to meet you.
Hello, Byron.
Byron has been sent from Gradzul with a delegation, including Aubrek's sister Sophia, who are hoping to allow for a seamless transition of Dralian's many business dealings in the region, so as not to disrupt the delicate economy that we have built here in Saltmarsh. There is great concern, though, about the reasons for Aubrek's murder and, of course, identifying the culprits. Please, Byron, if you have anything else to say, please introduce yourself and maybe describe what you look like.
Okay.
Wait, hold on a sec. Sorry, Kirk. Let's say also that at this point, the rest of you have been brought into the room so that everybody's in the room together.
Okay.
So before you stands me, Byron. I'm 6'2". I'm extremely tan. Looks like my hands are super calloused. Looks like I spend a lot of time in the sun. I have dark brown, cold eyes, and shoulder-length black hair. I wear a well-worn cloak of elven design with a hood draped over the back. And on my left hip, I have a rapier, and in my left hand, I carry a small buckler with a small rock embedded in the wood, off-center, as if the rock almost was hurled at the shield and became part of the shield. across the top of my nose is a long scar that goes from the top right of above my right eye across my nose down below my left eye, and the rest of me is also covered in scars and burns, scratches. Looks like I haven't had a very good time. And I'm wearing leather armor, and all I have besides that is a small bag on my back and a small wooden hammer and chisel on my hip on a metallic chain.
Human looking, I
By
presume?
small,
Yes,
by,
human,
by small, do you mean like it's
like a knapsack.
like it's like like one of those keepsake bracelets?
Wait,
The small wooden hammer.
Like the tiny. One of
oh
those
no,
tiny
not that
bracelets.
small. Think like a functional,
Like a framing
but
hammer?
like not, yeah, like a framing hammer
Or a
made of
jeweler's
wood
hammer?
Yeah.
and a chisel.
Not a war hammer though. Not like a
No,
weapon.
not like a weapon, like
And
a tool.
but the chisel is a normal chisel. The chisel isn't also made of wood.
No, the chisel's regular.
So these two walk in and immediately just stare at your belt deeply
your
and
chisel.
sincerely, like, no.
So what
You're
you're
an
telling us,
admirer,
you
your
look
chisel.
like an adventurer who has never adventured with a cleric.
Or a very bad player.
I may never have adventured, perhaps,
You know, yeah.
for all you know.
That's fair.
We
Anyways,
don't take you on one.
He got that look though.
yeah, yeah.
But you look like you're like fit, like you
You have
can
seen some
use the
shit.
things that you carry.
Yeah,
scar.
I'm like average build. Like I wouldn't say I'm like ripped or anything.
You have some
I'm
distinguishing
pretty-
features on your face too, I believe, don't you?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I have the scar across my face, from the above my right eye down below my left eye. Like I was just hit in the face with a sword or something at some point, or cut really bad. But the rest of my my arms are covered in scars, burns, scratches. Like you pretty much my whole entire body. It looks like I've been hit a lot. And at this point, I will say, gentlemen, my name is Byron Hern.
Really? There's a whole nice list on Facebook.
It's good to meet all of you. I have come here from grad school to assist Sophia in the transition of power of Albrich's estate. But before we get into that, as a side note, I have more questions for you, Rhunar.
Sure, go ahead.
Um,
I'd love to help.
my sources tell me you were on the on a boat seeking the Emperor of the Sea. Is that correct?
Yes, I got hired on the Soul of Winter as security.
And Albrich was on this boat, right?
Aubric. Dralian?
Yes, Albrich Dralian.
No, he was not on the boat.
Okay.
He hired some companions of mine, not me directly, but I ended up helping them along the way. And they decided to share their, the pay that they got from Dralian to recover something.
What was the something you were trying to recover?
Well, we never really figured it out. It was a large, it was a box.
And where's the box now?
We gave it to Dralian, and he seemed very excited when we gave it to him. He was convinced at the time. I think I recall that he was very happy. He paid us. He said something about how, many of his troubles are in the past now, and he thought that, he was very excited to have it, like it would help him a lot in some way. But we couldn't open it. We didn't know what it was. We just knew that he wanted it, so we brought it to him, and that's kind of how we left.
Interesting. And well, it would appear all of his problems in the past now.
Yeah. Well, I got the sense that it was something possibly magical in nature. I don't have a lot of experience with that.
Interesting.
And Dave, was it blue?
Yes.
Can't remember
Yep.
now.
It was
right
a
offhand.
shiny blue box.
Yeah, and it was described as about the size of a file cabinet.
And very
but
heavy.
They wouldn't know what that is, and very heavy. So it's like
Okay.
this dense,
A small
big,
armoire.
Yeah, like a
Small
small
table?
chest.
shiny blue box.
It's like a metal side table.
It was like a big chest, but it had no identifiable way in which you could open it. And it had no markings on it, correct, Dave?
Correct.
Yeah.
See,
And
see.
there were no exterior markings. One of our companions was able to detect some kind of magic in it, correct, Dave?
Yes.
Yes. So, but
Before he
as far
died.
as Rhunar knows, that's all he saw.
And is it true that you single-handedly defeated the pirate Volchek?
Single-handedly. Well, the story grows, I suppose. No, I didn't kill her personally.
Well,
we
you said
were-
you did. I'm kidding.
We were attacked by their ship, and they boarded us and attacked us from afar. We shot back. They eventually boarded our ship, and a fierce battle took place. Unfortunately, many of our crew fell, and there was only about 6 of us left out of the whole crew at the end of the battle. When we boarded the ship and searched it, we found the Captain Volchek tied up in her captain quarters. We took her out onto deck, and we were deciding what to do with her, and a body who we thought was the captain, who had looked like the captain all throughout the battle, turned into another man. Like, this man had made himself look like her. We were deciding what to do with her, and one of our crewmates ended up just killing her. It wasn't me, though.
I see. And what happened to the rest of the crew after you came back to Saltmarsh? All of those who saw this box.
Well, I can't say. We kind of parted ways at that point. I believe. I don't know what happened, what the captain ended up doing with the Soul of Winter. I didn't catch what they ended up doing before we left town to go to this Abbey Island on behalf of the Mariners Guild.
All right, and finally, did you tell anyone else about this box that you found?
No, I haven't told anybody about it until just now.
Okay.
I had not even heard much of that story before, so really, something changed shape?
So, yes, I survived the battle, but I didn't actually kill Captain Volchek myself.
You and Albrecht pretty close?
No, I had never met him until we dropped off the box.
See. Well, it's fallen on me to find out what happened to Albrecht. And
No, that was you fucking spiteful.
as far as I know, it doesn't appear that you seem to be involved in his death. So
I can assure you I wasn't.
If you're up to it, I think we could work together and find what happened to Albrecht, and then I won't take up any more of your time.
Certainly, I'd love to help.
Very good. And then I'll look at the council leader guy. Who is it again?
Eleander Fireborn. He is the captain of the town guard.
Yep. I'll look at Eleander and I'll say, "Can you take us to the body, please?"
Sadly, I cannot. The body has been laid to rest in the cemetery. However, I can tell you this. 5 nights ago, we were called to the Dralian estate with a report of a terrible crime having been committed. One of the servants of the house had discovered Albrecht murdered in his office space, slit from ear to ear. The office tossed, and quite a lot of blood on the ground. We examined the room as best we could for clues, but were unable to find anything save blood splatters that followed down the main stairway. It was very troubling to have such a high-profile murder, and I believe that some of the other folks in town who care about these sorts of things are concerned. The business folk, if you will. Of course, there have been reports of elevated activity on the seas with pirates in the vein of Volchek sailing closer and closer to Saltmarsh and Seaton. Perhaps the hold of the Sea Princess looking for expansion to their holdings.
Did you interview all of the servants in the house?
We have.
Did they see, hear anything?
They did not hear or see anything, which leads me to believe that this was done by somebody with a certain type of skill set, if you will.
Theo is just going to give Irin a very pointed look.
Well, I think I'm done here.
Um,
I'll look at Rhunar, but I won't even acknowledge the other two yet. Irin and Theo, and I'll just look at Rhunar because I've heard so much about him. And I'll say, shall we?
Yes, let's go.
We'll go. Lead us to the Dralian estate, if you will, Eleander Fireborn.
Yes, indeed.
Will your compatriots be joining us, Rhunar? Or
Yes,
your team?
I trust these men. They should come with us.
Very good.
I'll say.
All right, I will just wait until Eleander shows us the way.
Okay,
I've never been
Eleander
to Saltmarsh
gets
before.
up from his desk, and he walks towards the door and ushers you back out into the streets and leads you towards the Dralian estate. And let's highlight that on the map here. That is, yep, indeed. As you're walking in the streets, Eleander is kind of leading the way with Rhunar and Byron kind of flanking him on either side, and he turns to he kind of turns his head as he's walking to Byron and just says, "What are your thoughts?"
I think somebody killed him for the item off of the boat, off of the Emperor of the Sea.
It is quite possible. It seems that they were after something. That room was tossed.
I did get the impression that it was very valuable to him. He did not tell us what purpose it served, though.
He might not have even known what the purpose was. But he was a friend of mine. He was a member of my order, if you will. And without saying more, I just think it would be good to know why this happened and seek justice for Aubric.
Order? Are you a knight?
No.
A priest?
No.
A noble?
No.
Secret society that if I know about, you'll have to kill me?
No.
Then I'm out of ideas.
Very good.
Okay, so it takes you a few minutes to walk to the Dralian estate. So if there's anything else that you want to have conversations about with any of the members of the party here, go right ahead.
Very good. I will just while we're walking, spend the majority of my time just basically inspecting Irin, Theo, and Rhunar, like trying to gauge them, trying to decide like what their skill sets are and if they're going to be compatible with the mission that I'm currently on.
Roll an insight check.
Figured out that Theo is a black dragon in disguise.
Yeah, I'll let you guys sort of describe what he might pick up, if anything.
For Theo, I mean, he looks ostensibly like a man at arms because he does have a shield on his back and is wearing scale mail. Probably really hard to miss that he spent a lot of time at sea. Depending on how long, if your character's from Gradsoul or how long he was there, you probably detect a Gradsoul accent when he talks, though.
Very good.
How about you, Rhunar? Anything that he picks up on?
Just like my general appearance.
Yeah, well, so he was trying to kind of get a vibe for how capable you and your team were, essentially.
Yeah, I've heard good things about you, Rhunar, from my sources.
But now you're kind of sizing him up to see if what you've heard might be true.
I'm really just kind of inspecting you, trying to decide if I know. Like, I'm trying to gauge your skill set, basically.
Okay. Well, you'd see two cutlasses on my hips, as well as two pretty useful daggers. So I'm well armed. I have studded leather armor. I'm pretty weathered looking at this point, I imagine. Dark complexion, dark hair. I look like I always thought of Rhunar as looking like Django Fett.
Okay.
Without the accent.
A little bit Maori.
Yeah, little Maori descent, I guess.
Nice.
Pacific Islander.
Pretty
AC
tall.
people.
I guess I don't know what else I could tell you.
That's fine. How about you, Irin? He basically rolled a 16 insight check to sort of size you in the team up.
Sure.
So what he might pick up about you.
Yeah, I think. I guess I would say I'll say, since obviously you're a person who's, I'm not going to make assumptions about your class, but assuming you're a person, as you look, capable of handling themselves, you can tell that Irin is fairly physically capable. Maybe not so uncommon for a dwarf, but maybe a little bit more lithe than other dwarves maybe you've seen. I guess, I don't know.
Okay.
He's slinky and svelte for a dwarf.
What's that?
He's slinky and svelte for a dwarf.
A little bit, yeah. But very muscular. Obviously carries a forge hammer, although it probably looks like it's been used for things other than forging. Has a he's not necessarily extra perceptive, but he has kind of air of mindfulness, I think maybe would be a good way to say it, about him. And of course he's still a fucking grumpy ass dwarf.
Right. So if I
I'm
pick
gonna
up
play.
the
I'm gonna play to the stereotypes I like.
if I see your hammer, I'm gonna say I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna say, so do you know how to use that forging hammer?
I do. I earned my master smith at a young age. You.
What do you work with? What is it mostly metal forging or?
Steel. I guess. Mithril, if a person could find it.
I see. I myself have worked on ships almost my entire life.
Carpenter, eh?
I've built a few. I wouldn't say they
Nice.
were the best, but I've been doing it a long time. I've even come up with some of my own designs. I'll take out my sketchbook and I'll show you maybe a couple, like my own miniature sail rowboat.
Nice.
They're just designs right now. I haven't put any of them in the water. I think we'll get along.
Yes. That would be nice.
Rhunar, Theo, do you
Young love.
have any skills? Besides, I see that you're both obviously good at fighting, just based on your equipment.
I am a, how do you say, pretty okay sailor.
I used to be in the Royal Marines myself.
Well, shit. I like all of you already.
Theo looks confused and worried by that immediately.
All right, I'll stop talking at this point and just kind of keep my eye on the prize.
All right, so as you continue towards the Drelling estate, Iliander starts to talk a bit and kind of bring you up to speed on where things are at, and he says, our team has been working throughout the town to question those that you might consider to be the usual suspects. There are quite a few ne'er-do-wells that come through town on occasion, and that was our first line of investigation, and we will continue that, of course, but as Byron points out, there might be something more sinister at work here.
Not to rush to too many judgments, but if the man had a mysterious package rescued from an ocean-going vessel that was apparently something of a wreck, yes?
Yes, it was half the boat we recovered it from was half sunk and continued to sink even more until we got off of it. We barely got off of it with our lives.
And you also remember that it was actually pulled underwater at the end by a giant octopus.
Yeah.
That you guys barely escaped from.
We were attacked by
I tried
some
to forget that part.
tentacle creature
Oh!
out underwater when we left.
So it strikes me that perhaps this gentleman was, at least during the time of his death, and perhaps without knowing it, was involved with a very specific cadre of person that perhaps trades in very specialized goods or services. I'm not 100% sure what those would be, but it's, from what you're saying of the investigation site, it sounds like someone who knew what they were looking for, which means even if it were perhaps a local vagrant that did the deed, they were probably directed by someone who knew something else.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Of course, I can read your mind.
Wait, what?
I'm joking, I think.
I'll look at you really coldly. Like, no humor in my face at all.
Theo just holds up his hands. No, I promise. If I could read people's minds, I would have a much better career swindling the rich.
You'll get used to him.
I will pretend that I didn't hear that. Says
Which part?
Iliander. The swindling part.
The captain of the guard.
That
I
I
would
didn't
only
hear.
do that if I could read minds. I cannot do this.
Of course. Now, As you approach the house, he points out, we've got guards posted at all of the exterior doors on the main floor, and he starts to kind of point with his two fingers towards a couple different spots. And you look at this house, and it is a really nice mansion, huge. There are 3 stories, and the front entrance is very opulent and grand, and there's a really nice gate and associated wrought iron fence that goes around the entire compound. The stonework is done very well. It looks a little weathered from being so close to the ocean, as most buildings in Saltmarsh do. But there is a sense of, and you've actually walked past this house a couple times on your way to Winston's store and to the temple and the cemetery. So you've passed by this house a couple times, but it's huge. It's one of the biggest houses in Saltmarsh. There are a couple that rival it that you've also seen around town, and some that you haven't seen yet. But it definitely gives you the sense that there certainly is a disparity of wealth in this town, as in most sort of frontierish towns that are heavily influenced by mariners and the ebb and flow of goods from other ports of call, and of course the consolidation of power and material wealth is not something that is necessarily out of the ordinary, but it certainly is pronounced, especially as you walk up to this grand building. So he's pointing out there's a set of service doors that you pass on the southern end of the building. He says that's typically the entrance for the staff, the Dralian staff. And then he says there's a set of doors on the backside of the house as well. And then, of course, the front gate. And so he walks up to the front door, and there are two Towns Guard stationed there, as well as you could see one Towns Guard stationed at the side door. There are 2 additional guards that seem to be sort of walking the perimeter. So you get the sense that since the incident, or perhaps at the behest of Sophia, that the security has been increased around this particular home.
Dave, did you see the gate or the fencing went all the way around the building?
It goes all the way around the grounds, yeah.
So it's completely enclosed except for with the gate?
Correct. And it is a 6.5, 7 foot tall black. In some places it's kind of rusted, but it is a pretty, and it has like long dagger-like spikes around the tops of the fencing. You can only really see part of it, obviously, because you can't see all the way around the building at this point until you decide to investigate that. But what you see is a pretty heightened level of security that you haven't seen at any particular private residence.
Okay.
We've had guards stationed here since the incident to protect the staff, some of whom live on site, and since, of course, the arrival of Sophia, Aubrich's sister, who arrived just yesterday with Byron, and there was someone else too. Trying to remember who that was. Marcel, yes, Byron and Marcel. Yeah, where is that? Hold on, let me look at my notes real quick.
How many people live here?
Marcel Gideon, a grad school nobleman.
Thank you. Yes, Marcel Gideon. And so Marcel and Sophia, just to remind you, Byron, you traveled with them, so you have a little bit of a sense of who they are. You don't know them super well. In fact, you don't know the Dralian, you don't know Aubrich that well either. Certain things you do know about him. But as you come up to the front gate, and you're kind of seeing this front door and the security, the 2 Towns Guard at the front door sort of snap to attention as they see you come in, and they look very official. And Eleander leads the way up to the door and knocks on the door.
Very good sound effects.
Thank you. And so a couple minutes later, the door swings open, and there is a middle-aged woman with a long hair pulled back tightly in a ponytail, dark hair. She has a pretty dark complexion as well, and she is dressed very neat with a sort of a long dress with an apron. And she greets you as you walk in the door, and she has, you can see that she's kind of got like her left eye is a little bit lazy, but she has a really nice smile, and she greets you and says, "Ah, welcome, Captain. What can I do for you today?" And he says, "We have come to have a conversation with Sophia if she's available." And she says, "Certainly, come in." And so you are ushered into this amazing entryway. And it has these kind of stone tile floors. It's a pretty sizable room, probably, I don't know, 35 feet wide at its widest, and maybe, I don't know, 40 feet long. In front of you is a grand staircase that rises up to a balcony that overlooks from the second level of the structure. There is a very ornate chandelier that's sort of the accent point of this room that hangs from the second story ceiling above your head that glows with a welcoming light. There is a series of throw rugs that create sort of a logical passage from the main entrance, and in the corner of the room as you walk into your right, there is a human-sized marble statue of a very powerful looking man who appears to be holding what looks like a lightning bolt in his hand. And strewn about at the feet of this statue are these sculpted stone skulls and shattered bones. It's both beautiful and also a little disconcerting. The size, if nothing else.
Theo is going to have let out a low whistle upon coming into this room.
And your whistle echoes throughout this tall vaulted ceiling, and your steps also as you walk through the corridor. You're led into a large, what appears to be dining area. There's a long wooden table that appears to be set and ready for some sort of dinner. There is a table, and upon it has food laid out, bread, some sliced meats, and the woman says to you, please sit and help yourself to some food as I will fetch Sophia for you." And Eleander says, "Thank you very kindly." And he moves directly over to the meats and grabs a couple slices. Kind of looks at you guys and kind of gives a nod like, yeah, get after it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over and grab some of the bread and put it in my bag.
Okay, yeah, you're able to grab a couple slices of the bread, or you could grab the whole loaf if you want. But
I will partake in this smorgasbord.
Theo isn't going to touch anything.
Rhunnar's already eating.
So you kind of look around, and you're basically in this large L-shaped room. As I mentioned, there's a long dining table that's about 20 feet long, and it has 8 settings around it. There's 2 smaller tables, sort of octagonal tables that are also set with 4 spots each. This is definitely like a hall where you would entertain large groups of people. In the far end of the room, you see this strange bench that kind of draws your attention, and it's kind of this really awkward, tall, it's like in between a bench and a table, So it's kind of like almost as tall as Irin, and the bench part of it, where you would maybe sit, doesn't make sense. It's a little bit too high. And then along the bench part of it are all these, it's this pattern of white and black rectangles that are laid out. And I don't know if any of your characters have ever seen a piano before, but there's a strange object in the room that you may not be familiar with. I don't know.
I think Theo has seen one at least, and that's about it.
Okay.
That was a fantastic description.
It was very well done.
I thought it'd be kind of fun. There is on the right side of the room, towards the front of the house, there is a marble fireplace, and mounted on the wall above the fireplace is a really beautiful longsword. And it's in this really fancy mount. You can tell that it was professionally done. There is wood paneling along the walls, sort of like a wainscoting. And if you look at it from a distance, you can see that it has sculpted, chiseled, and woodworked images of flowers and trees and woodland creatures.
We are in a fine English manner. Oh boy.
What, Dave? How well is this place kept? Does it look, clean? Is there like accumulations of dust? Is there like dust in the corners? Like maybe it's been quickly cleaned recently? Obviously, just kind of eyeballing around.
Sure, roll a perception check
Yeah.
and a d20.
Oh, damn it. Yes. I will do that. Perception. Oh, really? Do that? Oh, sweet. So, caveat, Beyond 20 just updated so that I can roll the virtual dice on D&D Beyond, and it'll show up, which I could hear that it just did.
Okay, so you rolled a 9.
And I will roll. Yeah, it was an 18, and it rolled over to a 15, and it rolled over to a 5. So a 9. And here's my D20 roll. Oh no!
It didn't translate over, I don't think. Or did it? There it is. Well, Byron.
No, that was Byron.
me. I know there's a way you can roll die, like virtual die in this too.
What did you roll, Irin?
I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if that's good or bad. I'm looking.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about it. Okay.
Oh, it's a 19 or 20.
Yep. So you here's what you do see.
Okay.
Based on that, you can see that the table is set with really nice looking silverware, decorated ceramic plates as if it's ready for a banquet. Mm-hmm. But you also notice that there is a layer of dust on the place settings as if they haven't been used in some time. So that gives you some indication of what kind of information you were looking for.
Okay.
And looking for in terms of looking at the dust and sort of how well used it is, how well kept it is. The food looks good, like it's fresh food, but it looks as though maybe there hasn't been a party here in quite some time. It's a big house. It's hard to keep up with a big house.
Especially when you are a maybe destitute nobleman.
Right.
Or at least a dead one.
Well, definitely a dead one.
So you're as you're sort of looking around and snacking, Eleander finds a place to sit, and it takes a bit of time. Finally, the door swings open, and you see this rather beautiful, red-headed woman, probably in her 40s, human, tall, with sort of high cheekbones and a very, very severe-looking features. For those of you that, well, I guess just Rhunar and Eleander, who had met Dralian before. She resembles him. You can definitely see the resemblance. She is wearing sort of this kind of velvety material dress, floor length, and she looks very, very different, Byron, from what you remember of her during the journey. She was in more of traveler's clothes, albeit very high end and very nice looking. It was more functional. Now she has sort of gotten settled in and is sort of displaying her nobility a little bit more with the way that she's dressing, if that makes sense.
Very good.
And so she comes into the room and says, "Ah, yes, Captain, good to see you." And then she looks over and says, "Ah, Byron, what a pleasant surprise. I see you are sticking around a bit. That's good to know."
Of course, Sophia. We are not planning. I've recruited some people here to help us find what happened to your brother.
Oh? She kind of turns and looks, and you can kind of sense a little bit of a frown as she looks at the three of you. Says,
Makes sense.
she says,
Runar's got a turkey leg hanging out of his mouth.
yeah, you guys are stuffing your faces.
Theo has avoided the food, so he's off to one side, just kind of smiles and
I'm
inclines his head politely.
hastily wiping my face with my sleeve right now.
I'm lightly snacking.
Okay,
I've eaten maybe 2 macros. Just
Got
a
it.
light
2
snack.
whole mackerel.
2 whole fish.
bad breath. All right, so she says, "Tell me, Captain, of the progress you've made with the investigation into my brother's murder." And he kind of goes into a very similar update with her from what he mentioned to the 3 or the 4 of you. He also describes the level of security that they put into place. He mentions that they have made a few arrests and have questioned some of the local color, if you will, but have not come up with anything specific. And when he gets to the mention of this, he starts to mention the box and kind of looks over at Rhunar and then to Byron, and he says, "We are still investigating the motive, of course, which would help to, how shall I say, help to hone and focus our investigation on maybe on a smaller group of individuals. This here is Rhunar Deg," and he points over to Rhunar and says, "Rhunar had worked for your brother previously, had known him, and has agreed to assist in any way that he can." She says, "Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Deg. Any help that we can have and to close this investigation as soon as possible is much appreciated." And she turns to Byron and says, "Tell me, Byron, what are your plans? Are you also here to help investigate the murder then? Or will you return to Grad School?"
Well, I don't know how much you know about your brother, but I will not leave until I have recovered something that your brother may have had. Is it all right if we explore the grounds of your estate? There is something specific I am looking for, but I would rather not speak of it quite yet. Unless you know about this blue box thing.
No, I'm curious now. You've piqued my interest. Tell me, what would you know of my brother that I would not know? And she looks a little perplexed.
Well, your brother didn't happen to mention a bunch of people that he works with, did he?
My brother had many business associates across the kingdom, and you wouldn't have to be much more specific than that.
You would be able to tell some of us wear a pendant of a bunch of triangles around in the shape of a star, an eight-pointed triangle, or an eight-pointed star.
Everybody roll a history check.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
What's
Yes.
that?
Oh, holy crap!
No. Not
Negative.
this guy.
Go.
Oof.
Oofta.
Runar's. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna whisper.
That's good.
I'm gonna try to whisper something to Theo. Because you've definitely heard of this. You recognize it right away.
Bum, bum, bum.
Do I know anything about them other than the name and the symbol?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And I
Um,
can provide you with some details at another time.
That's quite all right.
Based on that roll. So yes, you do know what he's talking about when he mentions that, but let's just do this.
Do they like to party?
Sophia doesn't seem to. I guess I'm not 100% sure of what you're speaking of, but I have an important meeting in just a few minutes that I'm preparing for. I don't think now would be a good time for an investigation of the property, which has already been conducted. Is that not right, Captain?
Please.
And he says, yes, we did inspect the property, but I assure you that it never hurts for... She cuts him off and says, of course. She turns to Byron and says, how about this? Return tomorrow morning, and I shall give you a full tour of the estate, and you can search away.
I think I'm gonna try and persuade her. I really think now would be a good time to investigate it. I am extremely busy, and even 24 hours can destroy evidence. I know
Theo
you've been here
would
for
love to
very
assist.
long. And I would prefer to do the investigation before you have a chance to corrupt my evidence.
And Theo would like to step in as kind of an assist. And to be fair, my lady, and he does bow appropriately, actually, to someone of her noble station. Byron, Lord Byron, is correct in that for even there could be an issue with safety depending on what was left or not left here.
Okay, so you're going to help him with a persuasion check. You can tell Byron that she seems a little put off by your comment about corrupting the evidence.
I mean, in the offense by it, but
Yeah, well, she takes a little bit of offense to it either way. But I will give you an ability to roll just a straight roll.
see that?
I did.
That was weird.
But yeah,
You see
wasn't
the
there
die
for
that-
now it is.
on
Was
the
it
table.
supposed to be a straight 20? Or
Oh no, I didn't see the die. Did you roll?
So
did
if
you roll it?
you,
I didn't
yeah, I
see.
rolled a 3D die.
Sweet. Roll it again.
So all the way on the right side of your, like, you see the little cog above our chat window?
Yeah.
If you click on the little cog and you go down, there's enable 3D dice.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
If everyone enables that, when I roll a dice, you'll see the dice roll on the table.
Let's do that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. It eats up.
Oh,
It
that's
eats up
cool.
memory.
That's amazing, and I love it.
I love
Yeah,
it too.
it does
That's
eat up
pretty good.
memory for sure. But
What does automatically roll 3D dice mean?
Anytime you roll,
Um,
it does it.
Yeah, it automatically uses the 3D dice every time.
I like it.
I'll try it.
Yeah, try it. All right. She turns to you and says, "My dear Byron, I understand your concern and your eagerness to put an end to the mystery behind my brother's death, and I fully support that. However, I do have important business to attend to, and to be honest, it's been 5 days since the terrible events of my brother's passing. We have instructed the servants to avoid anything that is not of great importance for the functioning of this estate, which will hopefully preserve any evidence that you might be able to uncover and hopefully will not corrupt anything that hasn't already been corrupted before our arrival. Now, gentlemen, if you will," and she kind of gestures with her hand, kind of a sweeping gesture towards the door. "Feel free to grab a bit of food on your way out." She turns to you, Theo, and says, "Please help yourself."
My lady is quite generous, thank you.
I will just shake my head and leave.
Okay. So you get back outside in front of the house, and Eleander's like, "Well, I guess tomorrow morning then."
Theo just makes a very annoyed noise.
Yes, indeed.
The Leander, she wasn't in town last week, was she?
Not to our knowledge, no. She traveled with you from Gradsul. Given the length of the journey, it would have been difficult, I suppose, for her to be in 2 places at once.
Hmm.
She is, however, noble and may have friends.
Who was it that found Dralian's body?
It was his maid.
Can we talk to the maid?
Yes, of course.
Surely these servants must have known if he was doing any business that night or meeting with someone.
Yes, perhaps. I will reach out to the maid, and I will have her here in the morning.
Very good.
Right.
In
Sounds
fact,
good.
have all of the servants who were present at the estate that day here tomorrow morning.
Yes,
Um,
I will do my best. I think that's a great idea. We have questioned them already, but it never hurts for a second round, and I'm sure that, Byron, you bring with you a certain skill set that could lend itself well to encouraging some of the folks to perhaps recall things that they haven't recalled before.
We shall see. We shall see.
Theo just looks at Byron with that. Okay. Sir, one other just possibly related question, possibly not. Have there been any rumors of something called a brotherhood operating in town?
You're asking Eleander, or are you asking?
Yeah,
you are.
Eleander.
Well, please, let's walk. And he kind of walks you away from the estate. He says,
Somebody doesn't want something said here.
yeah, he walks and he says, "As you may be aware with your question, there has been a lot of rumor circulating, not only along the Azure coast, but farther inland, all the way to Nile Draw. Yes, the Brotherhood, as you say, has been rumored to be expanding their activities in the region. I am unclear of their potential presence in Saltmarsh, although it would be difficult to even detect given the reputation that they have for subterfuge. Nevertheless, it has been on my radar for well over a year since I received word from the capital that many of their agents had been detected across the kingdom and beyond. Why do you ask?
I've just heard the same rumors around the docks. And, well, a very rich man, suddenly killed, mysterious artifact involved.
Seems
It's
like
just
the sort
something
of
that
thing
came to
that they
mind.
would do.
Yes. Well, certainly if you are able to uncover some sort of grand conspiracy that would shock all of us, but could help to at least stave off their tightening grasp on the region, if indeed that is happening.
Yeah, he's just kind of a shot in the dark, but thought I would ask.
How does the captain come across as he is responding to these questions, making these statements?
About the Brotherhood inquiry,
Yeah.
roll an insight check.
Rhunar also suspicious.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
Irin,
Yeah,
you
good.
get a sense that this man is sincere in his concern, and you get the feeling that he definitely holds the well-being of this town as a very heavy responsibility.
Okay.
Now, have all of you heard of this so-called? This is Dave asking the players. Have your characters heard of the Brotherhood or know what that means? On any
Theo
level?
really- Theo hasn't, which is why he just nodded along like he did there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wrote it in my backstory, but I think it got lost in some of the translation of my backstory.
Yeah, I don't recall that in your backstory. I thought I recalled something from Theo's backstory, though.
Rhunar's never heard of them.
Okay.
I don't have anything specifically related to the
Yeah.
Scarlet Brotherhood in there now.
Okay.
I
Alright.
had one of the reasons that I left, or one of the reasons that I was more easily able to leave my home was because the Brotherhood had been making a play at Iron Gate,
Yes.
where I'm from,
Okay.
for a
That
long
makes
time.
a lot of sense.
And they they had tried to buy me out
Okay.
and ultimately destroy my stuff. But
So you
so I have
you've
a
heard
small
of them.
history. I'm not an expert on the Brotherhood,
Yeah.
but given where I'm from, because we're of course directly adjacent to their domain, and I have a little bit of history with them.
So when Theo asked this question, Irin, you get the insight that I mentioned about the response from the captain. You also raise an eyebrow, like, oh, okay, so he knows about the Brotherhood. What about you, Byron? Are you?
According to what I've read about my group, I know of a brotherhood.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not 100% sure if it's the same Brotherhood because it's pretty vague at this point. And Rhunar, you're kind of like, what are these guys talking about? Okay. So that just I just wanted to get a feel for how much each of you kind of knew.
The Brotherhood of Evil
Well-
Mutants. It's a
That's the only Brotherhood Theo knows.
The
Yeah.
the vampire did mention the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
That
So
he
did.
you recall that from the
Yeah.
vampire.
Yeah.
So that's what you would know of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly what Theo got it.
So Eleander gives you sort of that response. Then he says, as you get to sort of the main part of town, near the Mariners Guild Hall, actually, he says, "I must be going. I will see you again in the morning at sunrise, and we will conduct a thorough investigation of the property."
Sounds wonderful.
Good day, gentlemen. Thank you. And he says, and then he kind of reaches out, and Rhunar, he kind of gives you the forearm shake, and he says,
Yeah.
"Thank you for your forthrightness, and again, I did not mean to cast shade on you, my friend."
It's quite all right. I'm glad to help.
Good day. And he kind of hurries off as if he has important business to attend to, which he does. Leaves he leaves the four of you standing there in the street.
Once he's gone, Theo just kind of waves at his back. Go ahead.
Are we out in front of the Dralian estate?
No, you're in town now.
Okay.
You're kind of walking towards. You're close to the Dwarven Anvil.
Okay.
And let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's come back at 9. We'll start back up at 9 o'clock. How's that sound?
Works for
Sounds
me.
good.
Perfect.
All right, cool.
Sounds good.
Later.
All right, gentlemen. So you are standing in the streets of Saltmarsh, and you have just watched as Eleander hustled off to his business. It is midday, late morning, midday, and it seems as though there's a storm whipping up over the azure sea. The wind is howling, and there are dark storm clouds on the horizon.
At which point Theo will just, as he's waving to Eleander leaving, then kind of leans over to Byron and asks, without looking at him, it's like, do you also have a nice 8-pointed star?
8-pointed star? What?
No? Okay.
No. I'll be honest. What do you mean as well?
You mentioned an order.
What do you mean as well though? Like, do you have one?
No, I do not. I have this holy symbol of Uranus, but that's very new. I'm still working with that. I think I have another holy symbol somewhere, but it's not a very good one. Check out for it.
See.
But I've talked to a few people that did.
Well, do you remember their names? And where they live? And work?
And any family.
And friends they might
Mother's
have.
maiden name,
Besides you.
their first pet.
I tease.
It's very good because I was very drunk and we were on ships the whole time. Because I don't know any of that information.
Oh, well, I'll find them. Just kidding.
I still don't know what the hell's going on. Anybody want to get a nail?
A nail sounds good.
Alright. Let's go to the snapping line.
I approve.
Unless you guys have anything else to do. I guess I don't know what to do now.
My schedule was
Until
very
tomorrow.
busy with nothing.
You know, I am not familiar with Saltmarsh, but I had heard of a bar that I needed to check out. Something.
The empty
No,
net?
no, you do not need to check that out. No,
I don't. Never mind then. Let's go to Snapping Turtle.
You know what else you do not need to try? Claw wine. Do not drink it.
Hey, what's
Good,
wrong
I
with Claw?
won't.
So I guess we go to the snapping line and drink.
Okay. So you make your way through town, past the Dwarven Anvil, past the town council halls, and eventually
I will,
you make. Yeah, go ahead.
real quick, as we pass the anvil, I will, I'll say, I'll meet you at the line.
You know Irin, my friend. I believe she is married.
No, it's okay.
Okay. If you need help, come find us.
I know where you'll be.
Okay, so the three of you take off through the streets towards the snapping line, and Irin, you stop in front of the familiar dwarven anvil, and you head on in, and strangely enough, you arrive inside, and you don't hear the clanging of hammer on metal, which is a little different. Every other time you've been in there, it's been very busy.
Yeah. Do I see anyone about?
You don't.
I will call out. Hello.
Yeah, well, be
Anyone
right
here?
with you. Hold on a second. Be right with you.
That kid's voice again?
Different voice.
Oh.
And a couple, 30 seconds or 40 seconds pass very briefly, and this woman approaches you. And for the first time, you get a chance to really take a look at her. And she is, I guess she's sort of like she's human. She's wearing a leather apron. She's got this sort of white, it was once white shirt that has soot and burn marks all over it. It's kind of rolled up on the cuffs, and she's got her arms are just swollen with muscle and veins that just look like they're popping. And she's got a bunch of tattoos on her left bicep that are partially covered by the shirt. She has a strap of red fabric that's tied around her forehead and tied in the back, holding back her hair, which is a sort of a sandy blonde hair. In places it looks as though it's been burnt. And she's got sort of black soot on her face, and she's got a dirty rag in her hands, and she's sort of wiping off her hands, and she's chewing food as she approaches. What can I help you with?
Says, so a question to Dave, I guess, real quick.
Sure.
Is there? Chad, I don't remember if there is, but is there? Because I've really only dealt with the kid
Right.
before. Is there like a resemblance? Like familiar at all?
Roll a, I don't know if it'd be an investigation maybe, or a perception check. Whatever you think would be more appropriate.
I'm gonna go with perception. I feel like that's really fucking 5.
You're doing great, kid. You're doing great.
Hang in there.
So you look at her, and it's hard to say.
Sure.
Could be your kid, maybe he just works there, you're not sure.
Sure.
But you have heard him use the word mom.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yep.
I didn't remember, and I've been dorking through my notes here, and I haven't written any of that down, I guess. So yeah, I'll say, well, I've spoken with the boy, your son.
Jessica, yes, he's a good lad, and you can see she's kind of wiping her face now after she's swallowed her food.
A few times, and I'm kind of I guess new in town, and I have a bit of experience in the forge. I thought maybe I would extend an offer.
You pulling me leg?
Not at all.
You're not here to harass me like the others.
Nope.
Huh.
I got my master smith in Iron Gate when I was, I guess, hang on, pause. How old am I?
You don't look
When I
that
was,
old.
When I was maybe, I don't know, your age.
I see you got a hammer there on your belt. Looks
Aye.
well used.
Maybe a little less for forging these days, but it gets used.
You looking for work then?
I'm looking to be useful.
I'm neck deep in an order list that goes On and on, it seems. Never a dull moment here at the Dwarven Anvil. I could use some help, I suppose. Jaskard mentioned it when you were in last. I need you for a bit, though. I'd hate to train you in and get you all squared away and have you depart in a hurry.
Well,
You planning to stick around Saltmarsh for a while, then?
I think we'll be in town for at least a while. We've got, there's some things going on, but,
You run around with that Deg fella,
I have been known to spend time with Rhunar Deg.
huh? Sounds like
Sound
trouble.
good? Well, it's not all great times, I'll be honest.
Looking for something a little bit more steady, a little more safe. I could
Oh,
use your help.
I like working with my hands.
I'll tell you what, you look capable. Why don't you swing back in once you have a bit of time, bit of downtime, and I'll put you to work.
I'll do that. What's your name?
My name's Mafra. Good to meet you. She reaches out her hand. It's pretty dark and dirty, but she reaches it out.
I'll take it.
Yeah, she's got a very firm handshake, and she kind of gives you the side eye as she kind of shakes your hand. What'd you say your name was again, then?
Irin.
Irin.
Coalbiter.
All right, then. All right. Yeah, come on back when you've got a bit of downtime, and I'll put you to work.
I will. Well, good day then.
Good day.
And I'll step out.
Okay.
Head to the line.
All right. So the other three of you arrive, I don't know, about 20 minutes or so before Irin does. But you make it to the snapping line, and you walk in. It's midday, and you can see that there are quite a few fishermen that have come in from their morning runs and are spending some of their hard-earned cash that they just made at the market selling their fresh fish on ales and wine and the most popular drink in this particular pub is the claw wine, which is a delicacy.
An acquired taste.
I think it's how people get gout.
It's no seagull love.
Well, what is
man,
the seagull?
that joke never gets old.
Dave, what was her name again?
Mafra, it's Mafera.
E-R-A. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
There you go. All right, so you enter, and as you come in, you see a familiar face of the bartender. And he says, gentlemen, good to see you. Well, a round of claw wine?
Regular
I will
ale
just
for
do
me.
an ale.
What the gentleman said. We're
very
starting
good.
easy.
Very good, very good. And how about for you, sir? And she looks at Byron. Or he looks at Byron.
Oh, just an ale. Just an ale.
All right. 4 copper each, please.
Actually, I'll get one for all of the fishermen as well.
Very kind. And he kind of raises his voice. Hey, fellas, one on the house for you. This fella right here. And everybody kind of looks over and says, hey, thank you.
Oh yeah, I'll actually go sit with those guys.
All right, he brings your a couple of mugs of ale for you, and he and another fella who helps him, kind of the bar back, are carrying out fresh mugs to the sailors. That's going to cost you. There are 8 of them, so that's going to be 24 copper plus yours, so 28 copper.
Okay. And what's the is it
It's 10.
10
silver. Yep.
is 1 gold? So
10 copper is 1 silver.
Screw it. I'll give him a gold piece, but I want like 2 silver back.
Sure. That's very generous of you, sir. Thank you very much. And he gets it over the course of the next couple minutes. He gets everybody situated with a mug, and you saddle up with these fishermen, and they kind of raise their mugs to you and kind of nod. Hey, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you, very kind.
and I'll ask them about their catch of the day and how the sea was today. I know it was windy last night, but mostly I'm going to try and pry them for more information on what's been going around town, what's been going on.
Sure. Most of these guys are pretty quiet, but there is one fellow who sort of kind of takes it upon himself to, I guess, maybe speak for the group, I guess, and he's the one that really engages with you. His name is Porthos. The name's Porthos. Thank you for the beverage. Yeah, the fishing's been it's been good. The last couple weeks has been some of the best fishing we've had in a long time. Ain't that right, boys? And they're like, hey, it's true. And he's like, yeah, the sea's a bit rough, and but by the grace of Procan, we all made it back in today with a bountiful catch, and now we got coin in our pocket, and with the kindness of you, sir, we got ale in our mug. Ha! Where are you from?
I'm from Grad Sul. I spent many days fishing.
Ah. You're a seaman yourself, eh? Ha!
Well, I was.
Well,
But then I fertilized and became a full-grown child, and then I grew up.
You are a man-child. I can tell by the looks of you. Ha ha!
I'll look at him really cold.
Well, it's just a
Excuse me?
joke, fella.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
all right. He kind of looks
I'll
over
laugh
and
pat him on the back.
he nods. He nods kind of in the direction of the other three and says, "I see you made friends quick. That Rhunar Deg, you're one of your friends. It looks like, huh?"
I just met him today. He's kind of a folk hero around here, I hear. But I've come into town to investigate Aubric Dralian. Maybe you've heard of him?
Aubric Dralian, yeah. The guy was killed. He got murdered.
Yeah, I'm here to murder who did it.
Whoa! And all the guys are like, hey, man, kill the guy. They're into their mugs at this point. Well,
Sounds like it.
I'll get him another round.
hot damn, boys, we're gonna tie one on tonight. Meanwhile, what are the three of you guys doing?
Runar's enjoying his ale. I don't know. Am I with Theo?
Yeah,
At this
you,
point,
Theo,
yeah.
and Irin are sort of still at the
Okay.
bar, I'm assuming, at this point. You just kind of watched as Byron made his way over to this random group of fishermen.
Am I there yet?
Yeah, you're now there.
Okay. I will not be ordering a claw wine.
Again.
That's just gross.
Suit yourself, fella. I'll get you a mug of beer then.
Thank you.
3
sir.
copper.
I'll give him 3 copper.
Anything
Tip
else
your
the three
bartender.
of you guys want to do?
I'm just gonna turn to those two and just be like, so what do you two think of our adventures today?
Going better than yesterday?
Yeah.
I think.
There's less that way.
I think there's something going on in this town. I think the dead man is related to it, either tangentially or directly. And I think sticking with our friend over there, at least to start, is probably the best way to begin to get to the bottom of it, if that is what we want to do.
Right.
The other option is we could always get on the next boat, get the hell out of town. But I don't know really what are your goals here?
Yeah, it might help our standing around here to help out with this investigation too. I was thinking might help in getting some more work down the line.
But no, seriously, are we like an official adventuring company? Do we have to get like uniforms? Is that that sort of operation? What are we?
I don't know. We'd have to think up a name like the Red Crows or something.
No, the Red Cross were assets. Have they come back yet?
We'll call ourselves the Red Hawks, just to mess with them.
I do not. Hold on, bartender.
Yeah. How can I help you? You need another beer?
Do you know of the Red Crows?
Red Crows. I can't say I've heard of them.
The adventuring group, I think. Okay. Never mind. I'll have another ale.
Indeed. Here we go.
You're a good man. I give him 5 copper.
Thank you kindly.
We should check and see if they live, for the record. I have no idea where to find them, though.
I imagine if we ask around enough, someone will know something.
As you guys are talking, you see a familiar female behind the bar. She comes out of a side room, and she talks to the bartender for a little bit. She kind of walks back and forth, and all of a sudden she kind of takes notice of you and says, "Well, now looks like the adventuring party's back. Now remind me, which one of you was the musician from the other night? Was it? Wait a minute, where's that musician at now? I'll tell you what, he rocked it. We'd never done so well. You tell him next time you see him, you get his ass back here and play some more music."
We'll do that.
Will do.
All right.
Yo just drinks.
Y'all look kind of glum. Everything okay? Well, it's none of my business anyways. And she kind of says, "You tell your friend, come on back. We got some business for him." And then she kind of walks away.
I think it's best we don't tell anyone what happened to him. Or if we do, we say those fiends we found on the beach did it.
So that brings up another important question.
We
Yeah,
never
we
did
go
get
to-
to the bottom of that one.
Are we going to go take a look at what's left down there at some point? To try and find out what else happened?
I guess. I mean, if we had time, I don't know, with this whole investigation thing happening now, I'm not sure if that's going to be in the cards. But I'd be open to it. I just definitely don't want to run into that vampire again, though.
It sounded like he had an agenda, and hopefully that agenda didn't involve this town.
How nonchalant are you guys being right now in terms of your conversation? Are you
Very quiet.
I'm talking under my breath almost, like kind of just...
All right, so the bartender's kind of working back and forth on the bar, cleaning glasses and kind of watching the room and stuff as bartenders do.
Every time he comes here, I think I know Theo will kind of get quiet.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to be super subtle.
Got it.
I figured we were kind of just talking amongst ourselves, like closely, kind of.
Okay.
Agreed.
So,
And I'm not doing a lot of talking at all. I'm just trying to get the fishermen to talk.
Okay, let's
Like
go back to you. What kind of information are you trying to get out of these guys for the sake of kind of brevity?
You know, I want them to be good and drunk so that their like inhibitions to telling me information that they might not want to tell me is going to be
Okay.
like I want them to like feel comfortable telling me stuff that they wouldn't tell anyone.
Sure. All right, so that doesn't
so-
take a whole lot because they're already on their way. So they're within two or three mugs from you. They're sauced.
Cool. So first I'm gonna ask them. I'll just spit all the questions out at once. I'm gonna ask them if they've heard of the Emperor of the Sea, or if they know what object may or may not have been on that boat. If they know about Dralian having brought an item into town recently, or have any idea what business he's been doing and who that business has been with. And yeah, we'll start there actually.
Okay, yeah, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
I hope this isn't, yes, okay, good.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, so they definitely know who Aubrek Dralian is. At least the talker certainly does, and the other ones kind of, as he's talking, they're sort of nodding in sort of agreement, I guess, with him. What did I say his name was?
I don't think you did.
Oh, you said it's like Porthos or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Porthos.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yep. Yeah. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Yeah. So he is. He says yes. Well, yeah, Dralian. He's one of them rich merchant types. Been here as long as I can remember. His family's been part of the Saltmarsh community. Always kind of mind his own business. Never got involved with politics like the rest of them like Salmar and Primewater and them. But he fell on hard times. And God, it's hard to remember. I'm not much of a gossip queen or nothing, but yeah, he seems to have just, unfortunately, before his untimely death, it seems like he was rebuilding his shipping business, which is good for the town. Obviously we hoped he'd be successful. Now there's no telling what'll happen now that his sister's in town. But I don't know. Earl, what do you know? And this old guy who can barely keep his eyes open, he's like, well, Dralian, he lost it all. And never could figure out how he was able to finance that big old house up there on the hill. Oh, boy. Yeah. Who knows what now? He kind of loses track of what the conversation, and Porthos, he basically tells you, like, yes, they know of Dralian. They don't have any understanding of sort of the internal politics of what happened. They are, all of them who are coherent are able to express their suspicions at what might happen to that boy.
And do any of these suspicions stand out as, like, mentioning a specific location?
A location?
Maybe around town that...
No location. You hear the name Anders Solmore, who would be a competitor of his. It is Anders Solmore. He is also a nobleman in town who runs a fleet of fishing boats and has dabbled a bit in merchant shipping. And other than that, they throw around another name, and that name is, where is it? Kreb Shankar. Yeah, that old Kreb. He, he's known to be into some dirty dealings. But this seems even outside of his league. Why murder a businessman who's gonna bring more people and more booty into town, if you know what I mean. I don't know. There's rumors, but if they just be rumors. No one knows for sure.
Well, I appreciate everything you've told me. you know what? I'm not feeling this ale, and I'll slide my ale untouched over to Porthos.
Okay.
And then I'll go and sit next to the group.
Our group?
Yes, you guys, the three of us. There are the three of you guys. So Rhunar, Irin, and Thea. And I'll sit down next to you guys and I'll say, well, it seems the real heart of the city, it thinks they mentioned an Anders Solmar and a Kreb Schenker. Have you guys heard of either of these guys?
Yeah, I think I have actually. Crab Shanker. I'm trying to think. Was he at the Empty Net? Can't remember.
That's the name of that bar I was told to check out.
Oh, it's a much better bar. I think isn't Anders isn't one of the city council?
Yeah, and I think wasn't he also the one that posted the ad about the missing boat?
He was.
And Irin, you recall that he also you'd talked to him about your brother, and
Anders.
he was going to look into it for you. He said
Okay. Ah, yes.
he had
yes,
heard
yes.
of the Griffin Wing.
So they don't sound suspicious to you. They don't sound like leads.
Well, I mean, what they say about Anders?
Well, they said, that he was competition, that he owned a bunch of fleeting ships, and that he kind of competed with Dralian. But I mean, I can't tell. Sometimes I like to get the rumors sometimes are true.
Right.
But I'm gonna trust your guts more than I trust theirs because I got them all wasted.
I have may have never met the man, but there's no man who stays rich by being nice. You take my meaning.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe we'll talk to him as well. But what about Kreb Schenker? That wasn't. Does that guy sound suspicious or potentially related?
I mean,
His last name is Shanker. Just saying.
I look at Irin. Was he the bartender? Dave, was he the bartender at Empty Net?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we had a bit of a run-in with Kreb. We were over at the Empty Net, having a few ales. And our former companion decided to do a bit of a musical number there that was a little, how do you say, might have been insensitive to the local crowd.
That's a way to put it.
And they didn't take too kindly to it.
Did they kill him?
Well, if we stepped in, it didn't look good for him. He basically pledged a full round on the house and then didn't have the money to cover it. And it led to Irin here getting into a bit of a tussle with the bouncer. Big half-orc guy.
Wow. This guy sounds like
Anyway.
an asshole. I'm sorry you had to deal with him.
I would like to punch this man.
Well, Irin already punched his nuts through his chin, so I don't think we're gonna
I meant this guy.
crab. All right. Sorry.
No, I was talking about
Fair and dear.
Oh, Farendir. Farendir. He was a good guy. He's not with us anymore, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But anyways,
well, it sounds like a good thing for your party.
Yeah, we got the overall impression though near the end. We ended up settling after the fight. We settled our tab, and we got the impression that he might be behind some of the local, I don't know how you say,
Crime.
crime. Yeah, like he said something about some somewhat shady work down by the docks that night that we could
Interesting.
go and check out if we wanted to.
Is this about the time that our friend Audric was murdered?
It would have been the night before, the day before, probably. No, 2 days before, maybe. It's hard to say. Because the next day, we went to the Mariners Guild, correct? The next day we were job hunting in Saltmarsh, if I remember correctly. And we set out immediately with the job from the Mariners Guild to the Abbey Island.
Abbey Island. I've not heard of this.
Yeah, you don't want to know about that one.
Okay.
It's a terrible place. You're not gonna
Ask me another time.
Okay. Very good. Well, what time of day is it, Dave?
It is mid-afternoon at this point.
Well, guys, I'm new in town, and I didn't bring enough provisions to last me forever. Do you guys want to go see if we can maybe find some work for the rest of the day? Maybe I could use a supplement on my funds.
Yeah.
I do not know anything that will take just an afternoon. We have, and Theo will pull out the rolls of paper. There is, it's funny. Anders, that gentleman, is actually looking for someone to help him find a missing boat. And some of the local good dwarven folk to the north, I think they are 2 away if I remember correctly, need some help clearing out undead. That's not an afternoon job.
No, none of those are afternoon jobs.
What'd those guys say about Crib?
Kreb Schenker? I
Yeah.
said, well, now I'm drawing a blank because the guy drew such a blank, but he said something along the lines of, he was kind of a shady dude, and
Yeah, I think most people around here probably know his reputation.
It means if something happened that was shady, at least you might have an inkling of it. Now,
But-
convincing him to tell us, different story.
well, how do you feel about checking him out?
We could go check out the bar. Maybe there may be more sailor stories over there.
You know what I have not done in this town yet, and it galls me? I have not been in a bar fight. Come on!
He may not be too happy to see me and Irin, but we'll see if we can.
I will punch someone in the face, and it will all be taken care of.
Well,
What do you think, Irin? Do we dare show our faces over there again?
I mean, I imagine I will get along quite well there.
I mean, he didn't make off too badly that night. I remember seriously overpaying for some beer.
Things
Well-
may go a little easier this time without.
Without a noisy performance.
Aye.
Yeah. Well, I'm game if you guys are.
Let's go.
let's check it out.
All right, empty net.
All right, you guys drain the last of your mugs and bid farewell and head out into the afternoon. Again, the weather seems to have turned almost for the entire duration of your time in Saltmarsh for Rhunar, Irin, and Theo at least. It's been sunny skies and really calm, nice seas, and today it just seems to be ripping. and there's even a bit of a drizzle that is starting to fall on the town of Saltmarsh. As you make your way across the what the hell is the name of that bridge again?
Gosh, I was just
Shark
looking at
fin?
The Shark Fin Bridge, thank you. And which crosses the Kingfisher River, of course. And you make your way over to the dive bar, as it were, that you have all come to know and love, named the Empty Net. Right there.
Dun, dun, dun.
So for you, Byron, this place is ramshackle. It is right on the water. In fact, it's set atop a series of stilts that seem to have been driven into the harbor waters. And the tavern itself looks pretty rickety, and it seems to be already bustling with activity. As you're arriving at the Empty Net, there are a couple of sailors who seem to be leaving, and they seem to be pretty tuned up. You make your way inside, and there are about 6 tables. All of them seem to be occupied with a variety of pretty rough-looking individuals, folks who work hard for a living and play hard with their earnings. And the bar, there are a couple of open spots at the bar. And actually, as you guys enter, a group of fellas get up from a small table and they exit the bar.
Let's take their table.
Yeah, let's take that table.
You guys get a table. I'll get beers.
Great.
Theo goes right up to the bar.
Okay. And when you arrive, you see this guy who's just wrinkled and worn, and you can see that the left side of his head seems to be either balding or it was shaved or something, but most of the hair that he does have on his head is on the right side of his head, and he looks at you and says, "What can I get you?"
Theo plunks down, let's say 3 silver pieces.
Oh,
He goes, I need a round for me and my friends at the table. That's 4.
hey, yeah, absolutely. Let me get that for you. Thank you, sir. He grabs the silver, and he comes back with four mugs of ale. They seem to be sort of overflowing, and they're filled to the brim.
Out of character. He was far more happy with his money than my money earlier.
Yes.
Hey, thank you. Just to ask, who's the toughest motherfucker in this bar?
Toughest motherfucker in this bar. That's an interesting question. Well, probably that motherfucker you came in with.
Well, shit. I know he is a pain in the ass to fight. If I cause trouble, I will pay for anything.
You
Cheers.
looking for a fight?
No. What makes you think that?
Well, you're
Just
asking.
Flashes a big ass
I'm
smile.
not an idiot. If you're looking for a fight, I can get you a fight.
What kind of fight are you thinking?
Depends on how much you're willing to wager. But I can put together something for you, but it ain't gonna happen here.
You know what? I'll get back to you on that maybe when I'm with less conspicuous company, but I like where your head's at. And tip him 5 more copper.
Much obliged, and he kind of waves it at you and says, "We got ourselves a pretty good fight club here in Saltmarsh."
I love this town sometimes. And just head back over to the table, sit down, give everyone an ale. So, I made friends with the bartender. Where do we want to go from here?
The bartender's Crib Shanker.
Yes, he apparently he runs a fight club nearby.
Ooh.
Irin and Rhunar, you guys are the only ones that have been here before. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So you both turn your heads and look over, and the guy behind the bar is different.
That's not Kreb Schenker.
Nope.
This guy's strangely ugly.
You don't point that out to him until you've bought him at least 2 drinks.
Yeah, that's not Kreb. Wonder what happened to him.
I will
May
take
only
this
work
moment
at
and do a perception check of everyone else in the bar.
What are you looking for?
Specifically looking for. Oh, that's a good question. Never mind. I'm not going to do that.
We're looking for the strange cowled figure in a shadowed corner.
Mr. Ryder.
Turns out this is in all shaded corners. No. Okay, so that's not Crib Schenker.
Actually, yeah, no, I will do a perception check. I'm looking for someone who looks super shady. Someone who looks like shadier than everyone else, the shadiest of shady. Somebody
Alright.
who maybe sitting alone, maybe they're drinking alone, maybe they look angry.
All right, roll a perception check.
Damn. Man, these virtual dice are good to you.
Nice.
They weren't good to me when they weren't virtual, though.
I like those. Those are great. All right, so you look over and you see a figure in the corner. Not alone. This individual is sitting with seems to be a group, but she doesn't, or this person, I should say, because you can't tell who it is off the
Giving
bat.
it up.
And you don't, she's not saying anything. The person's just sitting there, mug in front of them, not sipping from it, not holding it. The rest of the table is animated and visually intoxicated. Not blackout drunk intoxicated, but having a good time. A little loud. Their voice is getting louder. But this person just seems to be shadier than the rest.
Okay. You know what? I will just stare at them until they notice me staring.
Okay.
And then once they notice me, I will do a thieves' cant. I'll make a secret symbol that says, "Are we friends?"
All right. Let me see here. Roll a. Let me look at your character sheet for a minute. Thieves can't, huh?
Yep. So they would
Okay.
only work if they know thieves' cant as well. Otherwise, it would just look like I'm waving at her or them.
Roll a persuasion check. Nice. Okay. And then roll a perception check. Wow. Okay. So the room that you're in, this bar is loud and there's a lot of activity, people coming and going, and a lot of conversations and shouting and even a little bit of roughhousing from time to time. And there's just a lot of drinking, which is, and it's still early in the night, but there's definitely folks in here that have a destination in mind in terms of their levels of drunkenness. And you are watching this person in the shadows in the corner of the room, and you get this sense that, yeah, they're not here to drink. And as you flash this sign, you notice that there's an eyebrow raise. Very subtle. Not a reaction, not a response. Just an eyebrow raise. As if an acknowledgement, you get the sense with that roll. But not a response.
I'll make a gesture towards the door, and I will slam the ale that I have in front of me. And then I'll just walk out the front door. Or, well, first I'll tell everyone, I'll be like, just a second, guys. There's something I need to look into. And I'll slam my ale, and then I'll step out of the bar.
So the rest of you watch as Farendir, or sorry, not Farendir, my bad. As Byron downs his mug and gets up from the table, excuses himself, and makes his way towards the door. And it's kind of abrupt, like not something that was expected of him at that time, especially given the conversation. Byron, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. And once I move outside, I'll kind of move to the side of the door and wait to see if they follow me.
Okay. So you're standing outside, and again, you see and hear the hustle and bustle of the empty net, this denizen of ne'er-do-wells and questionable people as they come and go and yell and scream, and stand there. Nothing happens.
All right.
Does anything happen on the inside?
In terms of,
I mean, he leaves. I doubt, like, I saw what he was doing.
right.
I'm not even gonna try to, but
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to recognize what he was.
right. But I don't know.
I mean, certainly you're alerted, to the fact that there's something weird just happened, or that, why is he all of a sudden just leaving?
Right.
It certainly felt, I tried to describe it as it was sort of out of sequence.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what Irin would be. What would your response be, Irin, to that? Like, what would you be looking for, or what would be what would be the response?
I mean, I guess
Just kind of a general scoping of the scene.
Yeah, like, I feel like having been in here before, like, I may be the baddest ass dude around, but, or Rhunar is either way, but, like, you're a place like this, you're still a little on edge.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really know this guy from Adam, ultimately.
Yeah, you just met him.
And Adam's characters are both dead. But, like, I mean, this is a little weird. Not necessarily strange, but, I mean, it's just maybe enough to, I don't know.
Sure.
Take a little bit of extra caution.
Okay.
Since I feel like we know he's not been here before. He's from we can assume, I assume that anyway, he's from out of town. He's only just coming to town, so, like, what the fuck could he possibly have to do? So, I think that's, yeah, just a little bit of extra caution, I suppose. looking around, making sure nothing weird is happening.
Okay. Roll a perception check
All right.
and a d20.
Perception. Oh. And a d20. Let me just roll the d20 over here, since evidently that won't show up the other way.
Okay. You look around, and a couple things you do notice after Byron kind of gets up abruptly and walks away and walks out the door. You kind of scan the room like, what the hell? And you do get the feeling that there are folks kind of watching you, watching your group. There's a couple of rough-looking guys that are kind of keeping an eye on you, it seems like. Not menacing, but just sort of watching. Like they're aware that you're there. More aware than you would expect just randomly.
Yeah, like this is the kind of place. Okay. Like I feel, and maybe I wouldn't necessarily know that, but like this is the kind of place where if you have a certain reputation, you're going to get watched.
Correct.
Maybe say more than a place like the Wicker Goat, which is a nicer place.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you get the feeling that people maybe recognize you or know you, or maybe they're just curious, but there's a couple of eyes that are on you.
Okay. Okay.
But that's about it.
Cool. That's all I got. Yeah.
Byron?
All right. Well, I'll wait for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Then I'll urinate on the side of the building.
What did I miss?
And then I will take out a pipe.
Okay.
And I will start smoking it, and I will walk back in.
Okay.
And
So
go straight to the bar.
So you're puffing on your pipe as you walk in and make your way to the bar. And as you kind of side glance towards the corner of the room, you see that that individual is no longer there.
Ah.
Oh, God, you did find the shadiest guy in there, didn't you?
When I get to the barkeep, I will just get another ale and go and sit back down with the guys.
Okay. Fair enough. Easy enough. 4 copper for the ale. And you're back at the table with the rest of the group.
All right. Sorry, guys. I had to pee.
So just as a heads up, we're getting close to 10. This might be a good time for you guys to maybe have a conversation about like what your plans are, or sort of, whatever you guys want to do, but that might be something to do, and then we can kind of wrap up after that.
Cool. Well, guys, I was thinking, like, whoever did the deed to, oh wow, my whole house just shook. You guys, can you hear that through my mic?
I could not.
I mean, I can feel it here.
Okay, yeah, lightning.
A lot of thunder.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm thinking is, this is kind of like, I kind of feel comfortable in bars like this. I definitely haven't had the kindest time growing up.
You don't say.
But you did mention a fighting pit, Theo. And I just want to say up front, I have many years of experience in fighting pits. And I think if anyone's going to know what's going on around town on the down low, it's going to be people involved with that fighting pit. And then I'll lean in really close and I'll say really, really quietly so only everyone at the table can hear. And I'm pretty sure I just signaled to somebody in here. But I didn't see them. They never met me. I tried to get them to meet me outside. Just for full disclosure here.
Well, right, yeah. I figured that if we came over here, that like you did with those sailors at the other place, perhaps that we might be able to pick up on some gossip or any more stories about Dralian or
Mm-hmm.
something relevant to what we're doing.
And something tells me I don't think anyone here is gonna like Obrick Dralian.
Why do you say that? Oh, anybody here?
Yeah, I don't think anyone here is gonna like him very much, or would have liked him very much. And I'll gesture to like just the natural, like the way the place is, like how shambled together it is and everything.
Right, not exactly his kind of place.
Yeah, I doubt he ever drank here. I doubt. I have a feeling envy is in the hearts of the people here for Obrick Dralian.
Well, just looking at this group around here, I don't know. Seems like there's probably a core group of people that work for the Empty Net and maybe run these fighting pits and some other stuff on the side.
I think all of these are very smart. I think it's the best thing we have to do, especially this evening. So, let me go make some arrangements.
Very good, very good.
And-
And Theo, be
Yes.
careful, because I don't know where the person I signaled went. And maybe I'm just being overly cautious, but if they did understand me and didn't meet me, they could be watching us.
Oh, everyone is watching us.
Well, they're watching you. What
Good.
did you do in here the last time you were here?
This is
caused
Rhunar Deg.
we caused a bit of a scene.
And it sounds like you made the wrong kind of scene.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably why I knew that we would probably receive this kind of reception when we came.
It's okay. Is nothing a little punching cannot take care of. So, oh great and wonderful dungeon master, we can either now or when we pick up next time. Theo is going to go talk to the nice man at the bar about that fight club.
Okay, easy enough. You saddle up to the bar and have a quick conversation, and he tells you that there will be a group of fighters meeting at the Point of Rocks at midnight, and that you're welcome to show up if you don't mind getting your ass kicked.
Let me tell you something. As long as I'm not sober, it's perfectly fine. Where is the Point of Rocks? I am kind of moved out.
So he describes it. It's just down the road at the point. You'll see it. Yep, it's pretty obvious.
The point where the rocks are.
Correct.
Clearly, my head is also full of fuel. All right. And I tip him another 5 silver.
Much
Just went robot
obliged.
on us.
Best of luck to you tonight. And I guess with that, we will close out the session with 4 of you getting ready to head to the fight club.
Not where I expected this evening to end, but I like it.
Ignore
club.
me. Oh, man.
We're keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, you guys really are. Cool. All right, so get ready for a fight. Or perhaps a series of fights.
Uh-oh.
Right now, Theo could really use some punch and shit therapy, which he's going to be so terrible at.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, maybe we won't fight. Maybe we'll just
I mean, if you go, do you
interrogate
have to
people while
fight?
we're there, you know? I mean, I think that's the rules of, like, typical fight clubs.
Yeah, anybody who goes to the fight club has to fight, especially on your
Yeah.
first night.
Yeah.
We're
We haven't gone
gonna have a
yet.
good
We haven't
time.
gone
Nothing is
yet.
going to go wrong.
Yeah, we haven't gone yet.
Yeah, so let's say we're sitting at the table discussing it, and like, all right, so there's the fight club. Chances are, if we go to that, we're gonna have to fight. Chances are, if we go there and we fight and we get hurt, we're gonna be in a kind of a pickle. But it might be an opportunity. I could sneak, or you guys could go into the fight, and I'll sneak and watch and try and pick out any information I can. Or maybe only one of us should go, and the rest can stand on the outskirts and watch or something.
You decide whatever it is you need
Just
to do.
some idea.
I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Very well.
I mean, when I think of fighting in a fighting pit, at least from my experience, usually it was with weapons, and usually only one person walked out.
Seems accurate.
Or walked again, that is.
It would be a good time.
Okay. Well, what are you guys thinking? You think we should do the fight pit? Do you, what is everyone thinking?
I mean, it might be a way to ingratiate ourselves into another level of society.
That's true. I was thinking just avoid it altogether, but you know, if we want to get any information out of this side of the bay or this side of the river,
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we don't all have to go. If you don't want to.
I think Theo's set.
Theo's set.
I'm
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going. I could go. But I'm thinking like we send one person in. They, get us the info we need, learn what we need to know, maybe get a contact out of it.
Right.
And then on top of that, worst case scenario, I may know some smugglers, may or may not know some smugglers around here who might know more as well, as another option for investigation.
Fair enough. I feel like I'll have to go.
You are a good fighter.
Yeah, I think so too. I was kind of hoping you would say that.
So if Irin was to go, how would we find out more information about what's going on around here?
Well, first we show ourselves as the baddest badasses. We kick a bunch of butt. We basically say, hey, listen, like, obviously, we're at this underground fighting ring. We're not necessarily, like, gonna go tell the town guard on you or anything.
Right.
Maybe you can tell me something about, like, oh, yeah, like, who hit this Baron? Because whoever did, they're fucking awesome. And, or not Baron, this Aubric guy, whoever got him, like, did you get anything good out of it? Kind of go the swagger. Look how fucking badass I'm a dark dude as well.
Right. Right.
I imagine we'll have to work up to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, but I mean, people are gonna talk to. I mean, if you're like a badass, and then you're like, oh man, the real badass here is the guy who did this, then maybe you can build rapport with that person, and they can come forward and get information you need.
And this
I
is
was
all-
thinking we just get in good with them and then go, I'm trying to figure out who killed that asshole because whoever did it took shit from him that I am after and need. And I would offer a lot of money to get that name.
Ooh,
We'll
yeah,
get some of his attention.
That's true.
yeah. I'm actually more set on the fighting pits now that I've thought about it a little bit more.
But if we all go, we'd all have to fight, right?
Yeah, and potentially each other.
This just in. I think most of us can fight. I mean, Byron,
No,
I
for-
just met you, but you look like you can fight.
We are supposed to, search that estate tomorrow.
I can
Right,
do
tomorrow
that with a
morning.
black eye.
All right. Well, if you guys think if you
I
guys
hear,
think,
all right, and then I hear a beer crack.
as
open.
another round arrives at your table.
yeah, if you guys think it'll get us somewhere.
I think it won't not get us somewhere.
I'm thinking that it's not gonna get us anywhere, but if you guys think you might be able to get some information out of these fellas, I'm for it.
Well, why
But-
don't you think we'll get info? Like, tell me more.
Well, I mean, what are they there for? They're there to fight and earn money. I don't know if they're like chatting. You know what I mean?
You have clearly not spent time in this type of establishment. I promise you, the best way to get to know a man and then have him trust you is to punch him in the fucking face.
All right. All right, let's check it out.
All right. I'll go with you, Theo.
I knew I liked you.
Convinced now. This might get us killed. You know that.
Well, if it does, I had it coming. It's okay. Come on.
Please don't make me kill you guys
I'm
again.
not- I wasn't born yesterday, but
No, you're born 2 weeks ago. We know
But
that.
you were born this week.
it was like 3 days ago, 5 days ago.
Sweet.
Very well. It sounds like the four of you have come to a decision.
I'm as shocked as everyone else.
I hope so.
Well,
We can
Think
always
about
change
it.
our minds last minute, guys. And throw
Yeah.
Dave for a loop.
Get ready for the fights of your lives. Again.
I mean, I will say there is literally something I have on my character sheet.
is the pit fighter Zolak?
Oh god.
You
So
don't
that's
know.
the only one there.
Zolak.
He's standing in a pile of bodies. He's fought everyone already.
What were you
far-
gonna say,
far away-
Theo?
I literally have on Theo's character sheet one of his, I think it's his bond or his flaw is, I think a good tavern brawl is a great way to know a new city.
There you go.
So kind of got to lean into this one.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I like
Awesome.
it. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that, and I'll get a fight ready for you for next week. Fight Club time.
Woo! Fight Club.
All
Unless we
right.
change it.
All right.
Unless you change your minds, which is always possible, because I never know
We'll
what the
get them
hell.
live. They'll be like, you know what? No, we're going to go to this
I
fight.
never know what the hell you guys are gonna do. So
That's how I feel about Chris Hemsworth, who is now going to be playing Hulk Hogan in a biopic.
We're not
nice.
talking about that right now. I can't handle that.
I can't wait. All right, fellas. Good game. That was a lot of great role playing.
Yeah.
That was fun.